Georgina, the Honest Vocal Coach. Welcome to my Facebook chat. I'm really excited to have a special guest tonight who he's overexcited today. So, as you probably know, Rob is partnering with me on my Foundations of Singing course. So I thought it would be just awesome to introduce this awesome guy to you. I've known him for quite a long time now. I would say well over 10 years. And yeah, he was doing master classes. 2-0, no, never. So yeah, for quite a while. And this is Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob. Robert from the Vocalist Studio. Geez, I should have had this all queued up a little bit. Yes, I've known George for a long time. It's longer than 10 years, George.
Is it? Oh,
yes. I think so. Yeah, maybe not much more, but yeah, approximately 10 years. We go back and hopefully we can share some fun stories for you guys a little bit about that. But yeah, I wrote a book and produced about 9 online courses that help students and voice coaches around the world learn how to train, learn how to practice, to build the motor skills and the strength to become better singers for any style. I've been doing it forever, and I am super thrilled and excited and having a fun time working with George. By the way, this is George. Right? So when I'm referring to George, I've always called her George. And well, should I tell the story about how we got together and how we got here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's get back to the going way back in time thing a little bit later, but more currently, I've been helping other coaches build online courses, and because I got a lot of experience with that. And George and I got together and we decided that we were going to combine Wonder Twin powers and work together to add value to her online course, which I'll let her go into more detail on for you guys. That being that sort of added some content and some lectures and some great stuff inside to give it some boost. And for me, George, it's been, apart from just building a really fun product together or sort of enhancing a fun product together. Apart from that, one of the things that's really fun for me on this project with you is, as you may know, my course sort of has a reputation of being overwhelming sometimes. Like it's big, it's got a book, it's got science in it and things, and that's great. That's great. Some people really like that. But what I really enjoy about working with you, George, on this project is it's a way for me to sort of live accessible, simple, easy, achievable lecture content through you. So I get it. I'm sort of plugging into this. You are the way that I get to say, oh, you want something like really straightforward and not too heady, but great practical lessons and advice and stuff. George, get George's course.
Yeah, well, I just found over the years of teaching is that quite often if I'd use just even words like vibrato or pharyngeal or something like that, some of my students will be like, what are you talking about? So they found a lot of the scientific side of things just a little bit overwhelming. Just the sort of terminology as well was overwhelming. So because I teach predominantly sort of teenagers and youngsters, I'd say that's my sort of main range, is that, when I come out with a fancy word like, well, we're going to do a staccato arpeggio with a turnaround, and they're like, what? So that's kind of what put me towards making things a little bit more simplistic. I'm not saying it's a course for idiots. That's not what I'm doing, because it is quite structured. But I try and make things as straightforward and simple to understand as possible. I try and make it fun as well, so you get it. Whereas I think Rob, you're an absolute expert on every tiny detail, and you will know all the big words. And you, so I think we've both got a great way of teaching. I've got the more simplistic, warm, kind of way, and you're like, let's get it done. Let's not waste time.
Yeah.
Boom, kind of effect. And I think that's created a really good project together. And it's just awesome to have your extra content in the course as well, because I feel that the courses can only just benefit from the onset stuff that you've put in there.
Yeah, and it's sort of fun. We're kind of an odd couple a little bit, I think, but I think that's what makes it fun and a little bit challenging. And people will be in the course, they'll be enjoying your course, and then they'll like come across my lessons in there, and it'll be a different vibe. It you know, and it'll be like, whoa, this guy's talking fast. Where's he going here? This is kind of techy, but interesting, I hope. And so I just think it's fun. It's fun. So we're doing some funky chemistry, but that's great.
Yeah, because I feel your level now is you teach teachers, and predominantly teachers want to come to you to learn more, to be better vocalists and better teachers. Whereas I think I've pulled away from that a little bit now, and I tend to work with the more sort of beginners, intermediate level. So I'm kind of the base level. Then once they've got up to speed, then I pass them over to you. So it kind of works pretty well. And then you advance on that next step.
Yeah, it's true. I tend to be the go-to guy for people that want a deeper dive, and it would be teachers or more experienced singers that know how to do lip trills, but they won't need to like fix that really difficult problem on top and all that. So anyways, again, thank you, by the way, for the opportunity to work with you on your project and do this really fun show today. Yeah.
You're very welcome. And thank you as well for getting involved. And, you know, it's just really nice that we've been able to finally organize this project, because I want it to be a long-term thing. This first course is just the first step in the journey, if you like. I'd like to do more courses, and not just about singing. I want to cover other aspects as well to train people, because I've got a massive following of people that are just generally on YouTube, and they love to learn about how YouTube works. How have I got so many followers, and how have I done this, and how have I done that? So I'd really like to explore that more and push forward in a course for that as well at some point.
And we will, and we'll do another show on that with a highly different sort of topic and stuff. And I really look forward to it. Hats off to you and your success on YouTube. It's very impressive. I have a YouTube channel, and I don't want to belabor it too long, but you and I have had conversations about this. YouTube is this really strange dark art. Like, how do you get subs and views, and really what is the relevance of that? You know, collecting subs, does that really equate to advertising? Do you want to advertise at all? You know, the whole thing is always been a bit of a mystery to me. I have a YouTube channel. It's great. People that watch my stuff give me the thumbs up. It's just like I can't crack the code on getting 659,000 subscribers or whatever it is that you guys do. But it's okay. You know, I'm channeling other elements and other platforms anyways, and putting more time there. But it's a roundabout way of trying to compliment you on your YouTube achievement. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, for me, YouTube was always about creating a package of things that you offer. I wanted to be on YouTube. I wanted to have, a decent website. I wanted to be on Facebook. I wanted to be on Instagram, just so I've got a nice presence. And it's part of a portfolio. But it just seemed to spiral out of control. And when I started doing reaction videos, that was when people really wanted to know more and listen to my advice. And I think it's not necessarily always me that they're coming for. It's partly the people that I'm reacting to, because they want to learn about that singer's voice. So, for example, if I do a reaction to Miley Cyrus fans will dive in on that because they want to know more about her voice, not necessarily because it's me. So I found that that's been very useful to sort of build the channel. And I would say now I do a lot more reactions than I do sort of training videos. But for you, it's very much a great YouTube. I think you're doing a good job, and you're serving a different audience to me. And it's not always about the numbers, and it still helps you do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's a different audience. I've seen what happens with reaction videos, and I've struggled with it a little bit because if I do a reaction video, I haven't done one before. I might try them, but it's weird. It's a little weird for me because we should talk about this. I don't want to just sort of go, oh, wow, that's really cool the way Bruce Dickinson put his foot up on the monitor. Oh, cool. Did you see that neat look on Steve Perry's face when he hit the high note? Let's watch some more. I don't want to do that. That's just not me. I'm not wired that way. I want to dive deep and go into technique and a little bit of, surface level science and sound smart and all of that jazz. So my question for you is, with the reaction video game, how do you do it? What are you thinking to prevent yourself from just sort of going, oh wow, that was really a cool high note, let's watch some more, and give it some substance, make yours have true learning substance? Because if there's a issue with the reaction video stuff with me, it's that I see. I can't do that.
I know exactly what you mean. I do have a few sort of other people that I know that are online, whatever you want to call it, YouTube vocal coaches, and it's like, I call it the fireworks display. They're basically watching someone perform and they're going, ooh, isn't it nice? Ooh, but that's not educational. It's not constructive. There's no meat on that at all. But people seem to like it. So I didn't want to have just that. I wanted an element of that because it's entertainment, but I also wanted a real element of education. That's purely why some vocal coaches, they're just not into it, which is fine because I wasn't into it to start off with. But I learned a way of doing the reactions, but still being able to input my knowledge of singing and help people understand voices that little bit better. So I do get occasionally people say, why do you keep stopping in the videos? It's like, well, it's a reaction video. That's my job, to stop it and react and explain. They're singing it like this, and that fault was caused by this. So to improve it, you could do this. I like to put those in there, but there are some people I've noticed that be like, stop in the video. If you want to watch the video, watch the main video.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
This is a reaction thing. I've spotted a couple of people have joined us as well, Rob. We've got Johnny Algeo. I could have pronounced that wrong. It could be Algeo. I'm not sure. He says he's loving the course, so he's already taken the course, which is awesome. So let us know which course. Is it our joint course or one of Rob's? That would be awesome. We've got a few other people watching as well who are saying, this is really interesting. Thanks for doing it. So hey to all you guys that are watching.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Hit us up with these questions. This is a good opportunity for you guys to get some free feedback from two coaches who have been doing this a long time. So let's talk about what happened a long time ago.
Okay, go for it. I'll just hide under the table.
All right. It's only mildly interesting. I went to the UK and I did a series of master classes, a little masterclass speaking tour, and Georgina was kind enough to host some events that we did together, and that's where we met. But a question I'd like to ask you, George, is you did the tutor thing, right? Like you had sort of like a franchise of coaches. I'm just sort of curious, like what happened to that? What happened to this?
Oh, well, I did have a company called Vocal Tutor. I ran it for 11 years. And the idea was it was a network of singing teachers who were qualified, experienced teachers, and also had certain checks, because in the UK at that time, and pretty much it's the same now, there's no legislation to say you're a singing teacher. You can pretty much put a sign up in a window and say I'm a singing teacher, and that's it. So one of the reasons I developed Vocal Tutor was to show that these teachers know what they're doing, they're experienced, it's safe for you to work with them, or it might be a parent and their child. It's a safe environment. And I developed a set of lessons for also beginning teachers who needed just a helping hand to build a business. So that's how it started. Started off doing it myself. I got one teacher join. At the biggest point, I must have had maybe 92, I think it was, teachers all over the UK, which was fabulous. I loved it. But by the time I came to sell it, I was kind of just an admin person by then. I wasn't getting enough time to actually teach anymore and be one-to-one with anybody, or sort of I've been touring, doing competitions, doing TV work, and a lot of that I didn't have time to do anymore because I was just stuck to the computer, and that's not really me. I'm very practical. I want to do it. I want to, get involved. So I decided to sell it and then move on to my current studio, which is the New Founder Studios, where we teach singing, guitar, piano. We have a recording space. I also have a rehearsal room, and it means I can actually do it. I've still got admin involved, obviously, but it means I can get my teeth, I don't know what you call it, get my teeth into it a bit more, I guess.
Cool. All right.
Why? Because you've developed quite a lot of teachers now that work with you. How did that come about? What made you go, right, okay, instead of just being me, now I'm going to have someone else involved that's going to, use my resources and use the Vocalist Studio, just book and everything.
So the TVS Certified Instructor program came to be because instructors, people that I met on the road doing master classes and public speaking of the content, the techniques and things, people like yourself, for example, although you're not a TVS Certified Instructor, those master class tours that I do from time to time resulted in very talented voice coaches coming out of the woodwork. Oftentimes they were the hosts of these things saying, gosh, thanks for the master class. It was great, really impressive. I sort of enjoyed what I saw here. I'm a believer in these techniques. This makes sense. How do I become a certified instructor of your program, of your method? And I had a lot of teachers approach me with that. And my response initially was, I don't know, let me get back to you on that. And I literally spent about a year developing a teacher franchise system. So I built the TVS Certified Instructor program because the instructors in the program asked me to build it for them.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have put all the energy and effort into it. So I sort of felt obligated to my colleagues and customers. In a sense, they're requesting a service. So I created the service and delivered it to them. Now, there's one thing that's sort of cool that came from that. Many things that are cool came from that. But one thing that I'd like to share is that when I started building the 4 Pillars of Singing online course, when I started writing this book, the fact that over here I had an international team of talented voice coaches that were sort of looking to me to lead, to provide a pedagogy and techniques and a lovely book and things that they could go to as teachers that could be a cornerstone for their studio that has credibility and that they could stand behind. And so I immediately felt this big responsibility as the leader. I felt like, oh gosh, it's no longer just me anymore. I'm responsible for these people. I'm responsible for these guys. They're looking at me, looking to me for real answers and real product and real credibility. I better hustle. So the result of that was I did hustle. I spent many years. I wrote this book. We did the most comprehensive online course in the world. It's great stuff. I developed a methodology, everything. We're still doing it today. But were it not for sort of the peer pressure that was coming from these new certified instructors on me to produce something world class, I might not have ever actually created the lovely service and the methodology that eventually came out to the public. Yeah.
Yeah. And would you say the people that you've trained to become, you know, certified teachers are a specific type of person? Were they singers before and wanted to learn more? Were they beginners? Were they teachers that wanted to learn, or just sort of general students? What kind of people would you say it is that wanted to do the course?
Most people that want to come in the TVS Certified Instructor Program are people that already have some experience as a singer or even teaching a little bit, and they want to elevate to another level. I have taken on raw teacher beginners, people that never taught before, and I don't dive into that willy-nilly, but if somebody has a big heart and I'm impressed with the interviews and I just feel like they got a lot of work ethic and they're just going to dive in and stir up the mud and make something happen, I'm typically not going to stand in somebody's way for that. But the short answer to your question is most folks have some experience, and they're
okay. So they're not
lots of experience, but they're looking for a methodology, like they're looking for a process and a step by step. They can be amazing coaches already and amazing singers. I mean, some of my teachers are better singers than I am, you know, but the secret sauce with Robert, I think, is, you know, the onsets, the vowels, the integrated training routines, the sort of the geeky process, the method that I put in here. And
yeah, because I think when I first started as a teacher in the UK, there was very few methods that were available. We had, at that particular time, it was Singing for the Stars, which was Seth Riggs, and speech level singing. That had kind of come to the UK a little bit.
Yeah.
There was Still as well, which was an offset of that, you know, from the same set of people. And there was also the more classical route if you went to a conservatoire, you know, the Royal Academy or something like that. There was a big gap, I thought, for real good pedagogy and methods. There was a gap there. So when I started teaching, I trained in as many different techniques and methods as possible, and then I would work with the individual on what they required and kind of help them as an individual rather than just having a still or just having whatever. I tried to make myself open enough to have all of these techniques and help an individual, because it was missing, that there wasn't many methods available. And I still think there is a lack of real structured methods available to people in the UK. There should definitely be more people like you working in the UK, I think.
Have Mike will travel.
Yeah, maybe some more master classes are ahead.
No, I'd love to do that. Yeah, for sure. And there are more ahead. I haven't been focusing on it for the last. We did a tour about 2 years ago. It was really fun. Germany, Italy, France, then came back to Seattle and did a 1-week boot camp. And yeah, I'm sort of itching to get out there and do that again. But you know, I've been working on the course productions and some other things.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What does the rest of the year sort of, how is it planned out for you? What do you want to achieve this year?
I have essentially 3 big goals. One would be we are working hard on building a membership service. So in other words, the Vocalist Studio International, turning it into a membership business model where folks can sign up, become a member for a monthly fee, but in exchange for that, get a stack of value, the core access to the courses, access to the books, access potentially to a really super cool interactive media book that we're building right now, access to live coaching, one-on-one live coaching technologies, review my singing services, community, all of this. So that's a really big thing. When you take a business and you go from just doing a transaction-based business, you buy my product, I give you my product, you give me money, we're done, to a membership model where you have to really kick it in on customer service and value at a whole other level. It's a real education. So I'm going to school on that right now and learning how to do that. And by the end of the year, we're going to sort of flip the business model of TVS and go in that direction. 2, Draven Gray and I are rebuilding the TVS Certified Instructor Program. So we're making some changes there to grow that program. 3, I am involved in building online courses. As you know, there's another business that I launched this year called Course Creek. If you go to coursecreek.com, course like singing, Course Creek like a little river, coursecreek.com, you'll see yours truly dressed up in my Sunday best, looking like Don Draper, all like, suave. So that's a whole other business that I'm really excited about, actually. It has little to do with singing and a lot to do with helping educators, companies, schools, people with a good idea learn how to get scalability through the production of online courses, which has been a big part of my business behind the scenes beyond singing, right? And giving lessons. So we're going to keep building that. And last but not least, I like to lead by example. I don't want to I've always been that way in my training course, and I sing online as much as I can. So in regards to online courses, I'm going to be producing a couple more online courses by the end of the year. There's a big list of these, but I think at the top of the list is one, what I believe would be probably my last singing course for a while, because we did the belting and the head voice course earlier this year. That was great. I've said just about everything I can or need to say about how to train the voice. I want to do a fun, like the last course might be a little fun one that's called Training in the Car. So they get some fun singer sizing stuff that they can do in the car. It will be a moderate effort. And then I'm going to produce a course called for on camera speaking to the camera. I'm going to analyze videos of myself, the ones that I think that are great, and videos of other people. And I'm going to analyze the elements inside those videos, what makes them great, and build a pedagogy around that I can use to teach public speakers and influencers and other people that are on camera learn how to speak well in front of the camera.
Yeah, I used to get asked that a lot. When I did a lot of vocal coaching, quite often I would get businesses say to me, look, you teach people to speak and sing in front of others, introduce themselves and sing. How can you put that into a business sort of sense? So I think what you're doing is an awesome idea, and I think it's going to work massively.
Thank you. I'm good in front of a camera. It's something I kind of got that. Like, I'm good at this, and so it takes some soul searching to realize, gosh, I'm not good at cooking. I'm not good at algebra, that's for sure. But I am good. Wire me up. I'm good in front of a camera. So let's pull out those elements. Let's build a pedagogy around that, and let's create something that can help people. And I'm excited, honestly, George, about helping people, offering a course that isn't only for singers.
Yeah.
That's honestly, to you guys that are watching this, it's going to be really refreshing. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I look forward to, I'm going to keep helping singers. Don't panic. I'm still here for you guys. I'm a voice coach for life. That's not going away. But I want to add to that. I want to work with some folks that have different needs. And so in Course Creek, I'm having fun because I'm working with people from all kinds of walks of life and different kinds of business models. And it's just, on a personal level, it's really refreshing, George. You and I have talked a little bit about it. But
yeah, I think there's going to be a crossover there between us, because I want to do a course on how to become a YouTuber, because I've become quite successful. And I've been breaking down every element of how I got to this point. I've written a whole course, and I'm currently working through it. And I think that being able to speak on camera is a massive side of that. because so many people want to be YouTubers now. So many people want to be confident in front of others. So I think there's definitely a crossover there. Yeah, exciting stuff. So in terms of your voice, Rob, I know you're so busy doing many other things. How much singing would you say you do? Microphone in my back pocket, darling. How much singing would you say you do in a week? You still vocalize every day? Do you have a set structure of vocal exercises for yourself? Because as teachers, I find that when I'm singing in the studio with students every day, my voice pretty much keeps on a par and it's okay. But with this whole lockdown thing, teaching online has been quite different for me, and I'm not singing as much. So I've had to think more about having a structured sort of vocal routine at home, because it's been harder for me. So do you still have that? Do you still have a routine every day? You know, what kind of stuff do you do to look after your voice? I really believe to be a good vocal coach, lead by example. Something you said earlier on is that you've got to be able to do it yourself. You want to I'm not saying you've got to be the best vocalist in the world, but you've got to be able to do it. So I'll stop the question and let you answer it. But what would you say, you know, how much time do you put in a week to train in your own voice?
Well, I would say 4 to 6 hours a week of training and working on songs. And part of that is sort of tied into helping my other students as well. On Fridays at the end of I teach on 1 day a week now. It's on Fridays. At the end of Fridays, I tend to sing and stuff. I have my preamps over here and my mics and everything ready to go. At the moment, I mean, that's your answer, but I don't have like a super big project I'm going after in regards to being a singer at the moment. Spent many years doing that and lots of energy on that. I'm okay with just singing for fun and just singing for myself.
Yeah, I'm in the same position. I mean, when I first started being the online vocal coach, if you like,
yeah,
I got a lot of comments saying, well, why don't you go on X Factor? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that with your voice? And I love being a coach and I love singing. I was never in it for that. If that comes along, then that's awesome. But I think, like you spent quite a long time not searching to be, you know, famous, but being a vocalist. Who would you say was your sort of big inspiration to make you want to do that in the first place? Have you got any bands or singers that you thought, I want to do what they're doing?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. My biggest influence is, and I recommend that you guys out there that want to learn to bridge from the chest voice through the vocal break into the head voice to build one voice, learn how to get boomy and belt up on top and absolutely melt faces and have a really great time and sing great. Jeff Tate from Queensryche, get the Warning album. The album's called The Warning. Anything he did was great, but get The Warning. It will blow your mind. Anything Steve Perry does, early Steve Perry from Journey was great. I'm a big influenced by Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. He's awesome. He won't stop. The guy is just incredible. These are all your Brit bros. Rob Halford from Judas Priest, major influence on me. And these are the guys that are screamers, heavy metal guys, extreme singing people. Outside of that group, I was very much influenced by, on the low end, Peter Murphy, who I think is also a Brit, and Morrissey.
Oh, really?
I love Morrissey.
Okay. Why are you drawn to Morrissey?
I surprise you. I just there's something wonky about the way he sings, where it's got this sense of randomness to it. It's not the elegantly crafted melody, and yet it goes in places and sort of grabs you. It hooks you in ways that are just a little. He hooks you and grabs you in the melody in a sort of improvisational, random way, when he's singing. The lyrics are great, and I don't know, there's something about Morrissey that I really dig. In terms of low voices, I'm pretty much a high voice guy, but low voices, Peter Murphy, Morrissey, those are my influences. And
yeah, because in the UK, we kind of Morrissey has been quite depressing and very laid back, like he's not really trying. But yeah, it's quite interesting that you're a big fan. Wow.
Yeah. Well, if I want to really try, I'll sing Dream Theater, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Journey. That's the really try stuff. And that's mostly my makeup and my chemistry. That's what's driven me and sort of got us here today, is the stuff that you got to really try, you got to really train, you got to learn you got to build the athleticism to get through the passaggio, take the belt musculature up and boom, and get heroic. That's the hard stuff. And I've always been drawn to the hard stuff. But I found that about a year or so ago, I found that in some sense, George, just between you and me, I'm like always going for the hard stuff, always training and practicing on Friday nights on the hard stuff only, in some sense, just starts becoming a little bit of a drag. I had to grow up and mature to get to a point where I realized, you know what? How about just singing for fun?
Yeah.
How about that for a change? How about just singing? Not to say that the hard stuff isn't fun, but it's always comes with a big hurdle. Okay. So I started recently. I've been singing Gordon Lightfoot and Jim Croce and low voice stuff where I can just sort of take advantage of the rich sonorous baritone colors that I have in my voice. And just, I've been looking to sing just for fun instead of singing to try to prove something.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly how you feel.
Do you? Because for you,
I got to a stage where it was always the difficult stuff. And I often get asked by subscribers and friends, why are you not riffing and showing off that you can do this and showing off that you can do that? And singing's not just about that. It's the enjoyment of it and singing for fun. It makes you feel good. It's not just about showing off. It's really not.
Yeah.
Often singers are now defined as being a better singer just because they do these integral riffs. And I think that it shouldn't be just about that. It should be about where it comes from. I know this sounds a little bit deep, but like you were saying with Morrissey, he's not the most technical singer, but there's something about him that draws you in.
Yes, right. And look, I'm the biggest. We got here because in some sense, in my disposition, there was something that needed to be proven. I wanted to prove. And go out to YouTube, watch my singing playlist. There's all kinds of really super high, really difficult, screamy metal stuff in there. It's all in there. I did it. Been there, did that. Happy to do it again. But I'm really sort of getting off on just like, you know what? I'm just going to sing, Something Beautiful by Jim Croce. And just instead of starting to like show off for people like other dudes that sing great, I'm just gonna sing some like really low stuff and just for the girls. I'm just gonna
just mellow it out. So we got a few questions coming through. Olaf says, how do you have a stable head voice? So how do you stabilize the head voice so it's not, I'm guessing, so it's not so breathy? I have students who struggle with this as well, actually. So go on, what advice would you give? If someone comes to you and says, look, I'm finding that I'm not always getting that consistency of head tone. It's always a little bit breathy. What do I do?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, actually. There's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that should be done. There's, in some sense, to bridge from the chest voice through the vocal break and into the head voice to make the head voice sound boomy and chest-like. We know that's what he's talking about. Okay, in order to do that, you're going to have a commitment to an extreme singing technique. That's sort of my bag. This is what I do. okay? If you do that, if you want to get booming in the head voice, the techniques are in my program, all right? Try to keep this simple. Number one, I have to make a commitment to train 30 to 120 minutes per session, 3 to 6 days a week for approximately 90 days at least. So you're going to have to commit to actual athletic training on the voice through the program and do that, okay? Now, what are you going to train when you're doing that? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn to get registration. You're going to get freedom of movement from the chest voice to the head voice, through the vocal break, through the passaggio, without choking, without pushing, without constricting, without all those problems that we've all experienced before. You want to get some freedom of movement. Now, initially, that freedom of movement might not be impressive. It might not sound great, but it's not the point in the early stages. You just want to get some freedom of movement. You want to sort of get up in the head voice, even if it's windy and sounds like Shirley Temple, just windy, and just sort of get a feel for that. So we're going to get some freedom. After that, you're going to begin to work on specific techniques. If you're working with me, you would work on what we call our onsets. And onsets specifically get after the motor skills and the muscles inside your voice. They move the vocal folds in certain ways. They tilt the vocal folds in certain ways. The details are all explained in the program. But you would work on these onsets to build vocal fold compression, to learn how to hold an elongated or thinned out cry mode position on the vocal folds. Okay, all this stuff together simultaneously. You will learn to get more close quotient on the vocal folds. That means when the vocal folds close, when they strike each other, there's more surface area. There's more mass. There's more mass on the attack. So in other words, instead of your vocal folds oscillating on the edges like this, which is what a lot of people do without training, with my belt training and George's belt training, what happens, one of the things that happens is we get more surface area, more mass in that oscillation cycle on the vocal folds. When you get more mass on the oscillation cycle on the vocal folds, and it's above the vocal break, it's in the head voice, more vocal fold mass in the head voice equals more chest color.
Yeah.
Belting. Now, what I just described for you, all of that is not easy. It's hard. You're going to have to practice. You're going to work on registration. You're going to take these techniques. You're going to pull in a healthy way with cry mode and the proper valves. You're going to pull musculature up and up and up and up, typically up to about a C5 for men, and stick at it, stick with it. And that's how you get there. That's the real path. That's the real path. There is no secret vocal tip I can give you on YouTube or some secret vocal tip George and I can give you right now. Secret vocal tips don't get you boomy and heroic in the head voice. Only training, dedication, and the real techniques will get you there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've struggled with in the UK, is that there is a lot of singers who just think that, you know, you can train for maybe 6 weeks, 6 months, and then you're going to have this amazing voice. No. But it's really not like that. You have to be committed and dedicated to want to develop your voice, and you've got to put the time in. You can't just do a little bit of half an hour each week and think that you're going to be incredible.
No.
You really do have to train and take the time over your voice. And know how your own voice works. Because the more you know your own voice, the better you are to advance, I think.
Yes. Definitely. Know this, that voice training, what we're talking about today, it's a sport.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be clever. I'm not trying to be witty. I'm not throwing out a metaphor. It is literally a sport. It is physical training. And it's one of the first things that you want to get in your head, you guys out there, is you need to come to terms with it. You need to own it. That okay, become a great singer, not a country singer down here that might be great, but it's chest voice stuff. But to like really bridge and connect and belt in the head voice to get the really cool stuff that we all want, I'm going to have to accept the fact that this is a physical endeavor, that this is a sport. Vocal training is very similar to gymnastics or ice skating or doing basketball layups, in the sense that, one, it requires great coordination and strength, while at the same time it requires great aesthetic beauty.
Yeah.
It's like dancing. Okay, which and nobody can tell you that dancing isn't a physical practice where you're going to do the same movements and repetition over and over again and get stronger. Of course, that's what dancing is about. Singing is the same way. So you need, I'm looking at you guys dead in your eyes right now into my camera, because I really want to make the point. You have to come to terms with the fact that singing really great and amazing is a physical endeavor. It's a sport, and you're going to have to find the techniques to train it, just like learning to dance or learning to do ice skating or gymnastics. So
it's not a short period thing. It's a long term.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, it's a long-term thing. And I think I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but I want to loop back to the point I wanted to make, which was that if you stop training on a regular basis, you start sort of getting weak again. Just like if you stop going to the gym and you're not working on your pecs and your triceps and your biceps anymore, well, after a while, it's going to start going down. You have to remain on your voice. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not the poster boy for being, perfectly on my voice all the time or anything like that. I've felt my singing get weaker because I wasn't singing enough. And then I felt my voice getting stronger because I was singing more. There's just no escaping it. If you want to sing great, you need to be on it all the time, and you need good techniques, and you need to approach it like a sport.
Awesome. Yeah. I totally agree. I've been, training and learning about voice. I've been teaching now for 17 years, and my voice is still developing. Yeah. There are still some days where I'll do something and go, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. And still learning about voice. So yeah, you just got to put the time in. So let's see if we've got any more questions. Jordan Lake says, loving the tips. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. So before we sort of finish up our little buddy chat today, Rob, is there anything that, you want to say about the course that will help people, get involved a little bit, maybe?
Yes. Yeah. But in all sincerity, I wouldn't be taking my time in doing this with George today if I didn't really believe in what she's doing and her talents and her skills as a coach. So in this program, in this course, you're going to be introduced and exposed to two truly long-time experienced world-class voice coaches, okay? A great voice coach, among other things, has to have great ears. They listen to the information that you're giving them with your voice, and inside the coloration of your voice is information you can diagnose. This individual to my right over here has those kinds of ears. What this means is that the training content, and I've reviewed it, I've seen it, is straight on that you're going to get real progress on this from somebody that really knows what she's doing. She's been doing it forever. Plus, what I really like about the course is what I tried to hit on earlier is there's sort of this poetic simplicity to it that is refreshing to be associated with. And I think that anybody that would like something that's maybe a little bit quicker to grasp and to get a result, it's a good course for that. And the contrast between myself being in there and George, I think adds some interest and some fun. I was talking about onsets earlier in training the motor skills. What we decided is I put in 3 videos in her course that takes you through 3 of my training onsets that come from my book and my bigger courses that will radically transform your singing. If you do it properly, the way I instruct in our course, by the way, it's content you can't get anywhere else. You have to buy George's course to get these videos. But if you do it, you'll get strong. So I think it's cool. I like what we're doing, and I think it has a lot of value, and I think it has sort of a fun element to it as well. With you and me, we're sort of like the odd couple.
Yeah, we kind of are. We're so different in the way that we teach, but our sort of understanding of voice underneath it all is the same.
Yes.
Have different ways of teaching it. I'm sort of cool, laid back with a cup of tea, very British. You're more rocky. Let's get the mic, bring it on. Woo! So I think that works really, really well together. And it's, yeah.
And it's out at Udemy, and let's be honest, at Udemy they do these silly flash sales. You can get the thing for like $9. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You can get like a 30-day money back guarantee out there with those guys. So
yeah, so as always, I'm going to put the link on the video so people can go straight to it and learn even more about the course, and then link with either of us to do more in the future. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Rob, for getting involved. It's been just brilliant. It's kind of nice to just sit back and chat. I feel like I should have had my cup of tea here with my little video. So have a great day. Thank you so much for being involved, and yeah, take a look at the course, guys.